Grade A.
Hey, run that thing up.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 15 of the Grade A Show. I'm with my guy Mike today, man. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Want to talk about these recent games in this playing, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's just get right to it. Jimmy Butler got hurt last night in a tough game against Philly, man.
Damn shame.
He's looking like he might miss up to several weeks. Several weeks could be several weeks.
Yeah,
so
that's the rest of the season for the Heat.
several
At
months.
this point. He'll be playing come October, November again.
Oh man. I just always pray for healthiness, especially when it comes to postseason. Let me ask this now. How do you feel about Miami ceiling?
I think the ceiling ends tomorrow night. The ceiling is getting to a 10-point game in the fourth quarter tomorrow night, hopefully.
You got them losing to Chicago?
Yeah, I got to change my pick, man. I originally thought the Heat would easily get that 8th seed. I didn't think they beat Philly last night as they did, but I think that ship sailed. The way Chicago played last night, I don't think Miami can keep up with that pace.
Now you do know that Caruso, he got stepped on by Drummond.
I was going to say he got trucked by Drummond. I saw that play. It was like a linebacker going for the quarterback. It was bad.
I heard his foot got stepped on, man. I'm like, damn, man, that's like 200 pounds more than you.
Bro, he trucked him. He ran right over him.
And I'm hearing also too that Pat Riley retired.
I didn't know that.
I gotta look into it. One of my buddies had one of my guys had called me. Actually, it was Ace who told me it.
Really?
Earlier. I'm like, man, I gotta look into that, man. I'm like, hold on, he ain't got no faith in Miami no more, man. Jimmy's gone, man.
I don't think many people do. I don't think me or Ace or I are alone.
Man, it sucks. Definitely got Miami losing. Of course, it makes it a little bit more easier for the Celtics, I could say, in that first round of the playoffs. Now, they still got to play. Chicago and Miami still got to play, but either way, I was going with Boston in that 1-8 matchup. Damn, I really wanted to see that matchup, man. I really wanted to see Jimmy in the first round, but hey, hopefully he get better soon. Zion Williamson's hurt.
Yeah, another tragic injury this year.
Do you think if Zion didn't get hurt that game, you think Pelicans pull that one out?
Oh, without a doubt, as I told you in the private conversation we had, I think Zion was taking that game over. He was scoring every time down the court for those last 2 minutes before he went out. I think it would have had a different outcome without a doubt if Zion stayed in.
Man, that was tough, man. I don't know. I feel like that's like a woulda, coulda, shoulda, or like woulda, coulda happened, moment. I mean, he was going off. I think he had 40 before he got hurt too. But I mean, prayers to him, man. I hope he gets healthy. Supposedly, it's a hamstring injury that he has, and he's gonna be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So we already got Jimmy out. We already got Zion out.
I think the Pelicans are done, man, after tomorrow night too.
Yeah, it don't look like it. It's not looking good for them, man. I mean, just Kings balled out against the Warriors the other day. We're gonna speak on that a little bit, but yeah, we ain't even gonna talk about that matchup. I just don't think Pelicans or Miami has a chance in this final play-in game that they got tomorrow. And we just gonna call it what it is. Giannis has a lingering injury. It's just it sucks, man. It sucks. Now that Philly game and Miami game, they talk about Embiid too, man. That knee don't look good.
Oh, you look gassed.
Man, he got a whole lot of conditioning he still got to get up to. I mean, of course, we know he just came back, but I'm really intrigued to see how Nick Nurse plays him minutes wise.
I don't
Going
even know.
forward.
I don't even know why he's back, man. Like they're a playing team. I understand they're in the playoffs now, but it's just not worth it. That guy's the top 3 player in the league when he's healthy. What are you doing out there risking that injury this year? I don't understand it personally myself.
Philly obviously believes they can still win a championship. I mean,
I'll believe that.
I didn't agree for him to be coming back, but hey, man, prayers to him. I hope he stay healthy and stuff. I just personally feel like he's one step. I mean, we talking about 7'2", 200-something pounds, and his game is he puts a lot of weight on that foot. Driving to the hole, being down there on that block, even jumping up for blocks and rebounds and stuff like that, coming down on that leg. The same thing that happened to Zion. Like their bodies aren't, our body's only able to hold a certain amount of weight depending on how tall we are, how short we are, so it's tough. It's going to be tough. That Knicks series with Philly, man, is going to be tough. We'll get into that more this week's episode and stuff, episode 16. Make sure y'all tune in. We encourage everybody watching to like the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Follow the socials down below. The Warriors, they lose to the Kings.
No show.
Got smacked by the Kings. Klay Thompson was the no-show.
Yeah, 0 for 10, 0 points.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel like moving forward? Do you think, I'm not even going to sit here and ask you if the dynasty is over, because it's clearly the dynasty is over. But where do you think they go this offseason? Do you think they separate from Klay?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's going to really depend on his market and what other teams are into him personally, and what other teams are willing to offer him. If they can get him for the right price, I'm sure they'll keep him around, because that's an organization that has proven over the years that they have no problem spending over the cap and paying the luxury tax. So I could see them bringing him back, but they need more than just him and Steph and Andrew Wiggins there. They need a lot more. They have some great young players on that bench, don't get me wrong.
I think they're going to get off of Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that too. They could do a total rebuild there for all we know. It's bound to happen. They've had a good core for a long time now.
I mean, do you think they'll do a rebuild with Curry on that team?
That's the question. Who knows?
I mean, he has a chance to test the free agency this year. I mean, I think, the Warriors are able to match whatever everybody else in the league tries to give him this offseason. I don't think the market may be big for him, but I don't think the money's going to be big for him.
He didn't really show up that game either. He only had 5 points at halftime. It was Kuminga doing everything for them in the first half. The second half got a little bit better for Curry, but he didn't have his best game either.
Hey, Sacramento lit the beam, man.
Yep, they did.
They lit the beam, man.
Ellison Murray showed out for them.
Ellison
Murray stepped up for the absence of Malik Monk, and they had a great game. Like, don't get me wrong, the style of basketball is a little bit awkward with some of their shot selection, their passing, but overall they played a good game. They took command of that game in the third quarter.
And then Sabonis didn't even have a good game.
Oh, he was in foul trouble the whole game. He was in foul trouble.
Man, it's gonna be tough, man. Leave a comment down below if your team is eliminated. I mean, sorry, but not sorry. But leave a comment down below, man. If your team's out or your team's in, man, let it be known. What is your team? Yeah, it just sucks, man, seeing these injuries. I kind of want to get into, because I've been watching a couple, the professional analysts on ESPNs, et cetera, Undisputed, FS1, and all those guys over there. Shout out to them. But I kind of heard something today where somebody mentioned that if it wasn't for the plan, maybe we wouldn't have these injuries. and I kind of hate to live off the what ifs, but I had to sit back and think about it. At the end of the day, anything can happen. Even if this was the 7-game series, the injury could have had happened. But part of me was just like, damn. I'm like, if this wasn't a playing situation, I mean, these guys, you could tell, like New Orleans and Lakers game right out the gate, both teams was going hard. Philly and Miami right out the gate, both teams was going hard. They was going so hard, motherfuckers was missing shots. Missing easy shots, So how you feel about that? How do you feel about the playing situation?
I hate that take. I love the play-in. These guys are fighting for their lives in a 1-game playoff. These dudes got to remember, it's another level of basketball now. It is not the regular season anymore. It's the postseason. You're going to get this level of play the whole time now. So just because it's happening in this game that happened to be a playing game doesn't mean the injuries ain't going to happen. There's going to be physical basketball played. And as I've said a few weeks ago, the refs are putting away the whistles from everybody that I've heard in this playoffs. So it's going to be physical basketball, and people are literally fighting for their playoff lives. So it's going to happen at these level of games regardless. I think that's a horrible take with whoever said that.
No, I definitely do agree. At the end of the day, we all here to play basketball. Well, they're all there to play basketball. I feel like it definitely separates 1 through 6 from 7 through 10. Your team just has to be good enough, and I feel like it's more of a fight, more of a battle to make it in that top 6. Like look where we saw Dallas at. The beginning of the season towards the All-Star break, and then look where they're on now. The same thing with Sacramento. Sacramento was like the 5th seed and had that locked and sealed at one point. To move all the way down to 9 was pretty intense. I just think, with the play-in and also the in-season tournament, it just gives the league more competition. It gives it's more of an eye-opener and stuff. So
I really don't want to hear it with the Pelicans either. You could have beat the Lakers on Sunday to avoid that game. You didn't have to play this week.
I can agree. I can say the same thing about Miami. Miami, I believe, lost the last 7 games of the season, of the regular season, to end up in the play-in situation. So, Miami is a team to me in the regular season where they don't have the pieces on that team to be able to be a regular season team to win you 50 games all the time. But when it comes to the playoffs and stuff, Miami is that team, of course, with health. Miami is that team. Coach Spo is a good coach enough to where in a 7-game series, we could come up with a scheme, come up with a game plan to really be able to grit and grind that game out. As you can see, what Jimmy Butler was able to do after he messed up that MCL, he was still playing in the game, still getting turnovers. I think he had like 4 turnovers in the first quarter or first half. But just imagine, of course, with him being healthy, and we've seen in the past couple of years what Coach Spo and those guys was able to do.
I got a question for you. You think he injured it worse with playing? Because he looked okay, and I understand injuries like that, they don't show up until after the fact sometimes, but do you think it got worse from him playing through that injury in that game?
That's a good question. I personally don't know. I never experienced having a crazy tear like that, so I wouldn't know. I have sprained ankles, and I have fractured my knee before in the midst of playing basketball. And I don't know what a tear feels like, but I could tell you what a fracture. I fell straight to the ground. I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk or nothing like that. So I wouldn't really know. But based off of having injuries while playing sports, I know the adrenaline is going and stuff like that as you're going. So you may not feel it, but that time once you sit down for a little while, once you take a break, if the doctors is looking at you or whatever nursing staff is looking at you to take make sure you're okay. Once you get back up, you're gonna feel a difference.
Yeah, it's because you saw, I don't know if you saw the video on ESPN, but he was just limping after the game. He could barely walk to the team bus, and I assume that's from it getting tight after the fact when he's not moving and the muscles aren't warm like after the game. But it didn't look good. But
and Jimmy, he looked okay. I mean, me watching the game, he looked fine. I'm not going to say I didn't notice the injury because you still could see it there. He was grimacing a little bit on the court and stuff like that. You could tell that the man was hurt, but he was out there trying to fight for the win. But shout out to Jimmy, man. Again, it sucks, man. That's one guy, like, and we're Celtics fans. I could at least speak for myself. I like to see these matchups. I want to see these matchups again against Boston because I would like for our team to be put to the test. We have a new roster this year. Shooting the ball more. We have Porzingis now. I want to be able to see what that Miami Heat team was going to be able to do with them. Same thing with the Bucks. They're not looking too good this year, but I would like to see what they was able to do against Boston this year. But it sucks, man. But at the end of the day, the next man up.
Yep.
Things happen. But speaking about his injury, I want to go back to Joel Embiid too, man. He looked gassed.
Yeah.
He was reaching down for that leg, still trying to adjust that brace in between plays and stuff like that. I'm just afraid he's one play away from having a serious long-term injury.
Another thing is too, as I said to you when we were talking earlier today, you needed 20 out of Nick Batum just to get 105 points. If you continue,
let's talk about Nick Batum.
But I'm just saying. So with that right there, why are you playing Embiid? You ain't gonna beat the Knicks scoring 105 points a night. I'm sorry, this isn't the Knicks of last year that are only putting up 90 points a game.
So, what's your game plan against the Knicks and you, Philly?
I was going to say Nick Nurse. I've said it on the show before. I think his defensive schemes are phenomenal. I think he'll come up with a good defensive scheme against the Knicks. Personally, I think you got to shut down Jalen Brunson. That man is the hottest player in the NBA right now.
You're not going to do it with Kyle Lowry.
No, he can't keep up with him.
I mean, in my opinion, man, put Kelly Oubre or put trash ass Tobias Harris on him. He'll play better defense than he do offense, but I can't stand that dude.
But Embiid himself, man, as I said earlier, I don't even know why he's back, man. It doesn't make any sense to me why he's back. I understand you're in the playoffs and you got a chance to go to the championship. The Heat did it last year as an 8 seed, but I look at the rest of your team. You got Maxey, and that's really it. You got a bunch of role players other than that. Like Kelly Oubre is solid off the bench. Don't get me wrong, but you got a ton of role players other than that, and dudes that aren't going to bring you deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, Philly's a very weird team.
Yeah.
I like them a bit more when the beginning of the season, of course, when they was all healthy and stuff. But I really liked how Robert Covington fit in that.
He was awesome. I thought the same thing.
But as far as a game plan for the Knicks, I mean, the Knicks is on a roll. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Knicks. They stole the number 2 seed. They're on a roll. But we'll see. Again, we'll get back into that, more this Saturday. Make sure everybody watching, y'all tune in to episode 16. We going live at 5:00. We talking about those playoffs games. Got a couple playoffs games. Lakers and the Nuggets started. Phoenix and Minnesota start and stuff like that. But tomorrow is the final games for the AFC. We got Chicago and Miami. Leave a comment down below who you got. I think, we're both 2-0 slate, Chicago over Miami.
Yep.
And unfortunately, due to Zion being hurt, man, I don't think the Pelicans are gonna overcome that matchup, man. It sucks. It's looking tough. Real quick, you got a take on the Celtics if they see Chicago or Miami.
Yeah, I think Jason Tatum's going to be glad his daddy Jimmy Butler ain't going to be playing if they got to play the Heat. But nah, they wiped the floor with Chicago and Miami this year. I think they were combined 6-0 against the two of them. So even though Chicago's playing very good ball right now, I don't think they get more than five games into that series and the Celtics win. And then with Miami, I still don't believe they win tomorrow night. But in the odd occurrence they do, I can't see them doing anything without Jimmy Butler. That's your main man. Like, don't get me wrong, Bam's a great player too. Tyler Hero, when he's on, he's good, but without Jimmy, you're not going to be able to make that deep playoff push like you did last year.
No, I could agree, man. I mean, I'm not gonna leave no slouch to Chicago or Miami. They both doing their things, especially towards the end of the season. More so Chicago. In the last month of basketball, Kobe White, DeMar DeRozan, and them guys over there has been balling. I just don't think it's going to be enough for the Celtics. Now, they can steal a game. They can steal 2 games if the Celtics want to come around and shoot the long ball all day and not mix it up a little bit. I stated it before. I think what's really going to help the Celtics this year is 2 things: staying motivated and mixing it up a little bit when the long ball doesn't fall for them. If you're shooting that 3, keep shooting that 3. You shoot 5 threes in a row for all misses, and you got the team coming down, getting 2 easy layups and some free throws. Just mix it up a little bit.
Attack the paint.
Mix it up a little bit. It sucks because these injuries is here, and I don't want to make it no excuses for Boston, or bring up injuries is the reason why they made it here and made it there and stuff like that. At the end of the day, they're all professionals. They're getting paid to play ball, and they do a damn good thing doing it. Shout out to them. No, I hope they get healthy. They're not gonna get healthy, unfortunately, before the
not 24 hours.
But I pray for no more injuries, man. It just sucks, man. Two top tier players that we got in both Zion and Jimmy's out. We got 3 of the best in the East with Joel Embiid, Giannis, and Jimmy Butler all nicked up. It just sucks, man. Hopefully them guys get healthy and stuff. But, man, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. You see the socials down below. Just want to thank everybody. We finally did get to 100 subscribers. Leave a comment down below. Comment the grade A giveaway if you want to enter the live drawing. We may not do it this week. I want to give it until next week to get some more people in the pool. We're giving away 2 prizes and they're free. Just leave a comment down below. Grade A giveaway. And then you'll see once we do that live drawing, we'll contact you guys by email, get your address information, and then you'll get a package in the mail. It's an unlimited entry. So if you want to comment 20 times, your name will get entered in 20 times. Leave a comment down below. Grade A giveaway. Make sure y'all like the channel, subscribe, tune in for this week's episode at 5 p.m. Peace.
Grade A. Hey, run that thing up.